Hello everyone, back again on the Anime Today channel. Today we will explain an anime film entitled, Skeleton Knight in Another World. Before starting, don't forget to click the subscribe button and click the bell. The story starts with Arc, who is already in the game world. He thinks that it was just a dream, because before he fell asleep after playing games all day. It is seen that Arc has very overpowered equipment, namely the sacred armor of Belinus, which has the blessing of the elements of light and fire, the holy shield of Tutates, the holy lightning sword of Calidbolg, and the robe of the night sky, which has the blessing of darkness and mana regeneration. Without further ado, Arc tried several attacks of sword technique and fire magic, but because he had no money and his stomach was starving, Arc decided to head to the nearest town, using the melee transfer skill, namely Dimension Move. Before heading to the city, Arc saw that he had a skeleton face while in the river. For that, Arc had to hide it so as not to be mistaken for an undead monster by the isekai residents. Then the Arc arrived at the castle town of Louvierte. The Arc went around there and was interested in the food. To be able to taste it, Arc must earn money first. Then Arc sees there is an elf woman in the city. Arc tried to chase after him, but instead lost track. Luckily he arrived in front of the mercenary guild. Knowing that, the Arc immediately registered there, and his hands were itching to slay. Before getting a mercenary license, Arcs are required to collect beasts, monsters, or bandits. Without further ado, Arc accepted it and immediately gathered the 3 requirements. Even the Arc can defeat the orc monsters that approach him, but when he wants to return to the city, the Arc sees that a noble woman and her maid have been attacked by bandits. Even the bandits try to brutally unbox them both. With a very valiant, Arc becomes a true knight figure. Instantly the woman was fascinated by the beauty of the Arc. The noble woman's name was Lauren, and a maid's name was Rita. After all that, the Arc took care of Lauren with Rita while heading to the city. If the Arc stopped by the mercenary guild, to get the prize money along with the license. Then the Arc was enjoying the food very happily. The next day, Arc went to a small village, to carry out a mission to escort someone. In order to collect herbal ingredients, their Arc met a small child named Marka. It turned out that the client of the mission was him. As a result, Arc escorted him to collect materials from the forest, but while traveling Arc sensed the presence of monsters there. It turned out that only a small fox was injured. Seeing that the Arc healed him with magic, so the fox wanted to be with the Arc, because the Arc had healed him. Arc also gave the name Ponta. Then when they arrived at the Kbami tree, suddenly there was a giant monster facing them there. Luckily the Arc quickly saved the marker, so the Arc fought while protecting the Marka, and managed to defeat him. After seeing that there was a black ring on the monster, it was likely that the monster was controlled by someone. Then there was a pitbull that appeared around the place. As a result, the bow wanted to be used as a gift for the villagers. After they returned to the village, and brought the animal, then came mother of them met them, looked very worried about themselves and their safety. Luckily all ended peacefully. Then the Arc had finished its mission, and decided to return to the city. Furthermore, the Arc is chasing the bandits and laughing handsomely. After successfully holding them, the Arc also takes all the treasures. Besides that, there is a lord of the city of Diento, and he is the mastermind trying to kill Lauren. Even they are involved in controlling the lizard monster that is fought by Arc. Then Arian saw the Arc that came out of the bandits' cave. Without further ado, Arian immediately attacked with the Arc there. Fortunately, thanks to Ponta's cuteness, Arian was fascinated. It turns out that Ponta is seeing a spirit that is difficult to conquer. Arc can beat Ponta. Arian believes that Arc is a figure of a good person. After that, Arian explained that he was looking for the elves who had been kidnapped. Hearing that Arc wanted to help him and at the same time wanted to be close to Arian. But Arian immediately left from there, but hasn't given up on getting closer to Arian. The next day he headed to the forest where the elves lived, but instead met a group carrying the elves there. When they wanted to attack, suddenly Arian came to slaughter the hunters, even though he managed to defeat them all. But the leader of the group made the elf as Sandra, so Arian was helpless and almost wanted to be abused there. Luckily came a valiant and very brave bow, thanks to which all the hunters succeeded. After that they were the elves. Then Arian got a mission to attack the enemy, and save the elves. Because of that, Arian asked the mercenary for help, so that he could help him in the mission. Next, Arc accepted Arian's offer on a mission. Then Arc teleported to the one close to the city of Diento. When they entered the city, they met Arian's partner, Donka. Even though Donka didn't believe the Arc was too interesting, luckily thanks to an explanation from an expert, he made him accept the existence of the Arc there. Because they wanted to infiltrate the enemy base there, decided to go anywhere, and wanted to enjoy food in a quiet place. After they infiltrated using teleportation, but when they entered through the window, they were trapped there because the body was too big. Then they split up to save the elves, but will meet another intruder. He is a ninja named Shiom. After seeing Ponta, Shiom stopped attacking the Ark. Then as an apology, Shiom explained that the elf captives were in a dungeon. Not only that, the two elves were also in the palace of the Lord of Dianto City. Then the Ark explained everything to them, but they were approached with a guard in that place. After beating all the guards there, they managed to save the captive elves, without further ado moving them all to a safe place. Then Danka brought them back to the village, while Ark together with Arian rescued two elves in the palace of the ruler of Dianto. Without further ado, they headed straight for it, whereupon it was shown that the two fairies wanted someone to have sex with them. While the Ark with Arian managed to infiltrate, as a result the two elves succeeded, and the person was beaten by them, while the Ark found the person's secret place. While Arian was fighting the remaining guards, Ark instead took gold and treasure from the secret place. After finishing teleporting to a safe place, whereas the elves previously had possession of Danka to the elven village. Then Arian gave an imbalance to the Ark that had helped him. Not only that Arian invited the Ark to stop by the elf village, but the Ark had to meet the elf chief first, in order to get permission to enter the village. Then Ark divulged his secret by showing his form as a skull, and explaining that he had been hit by a curse. Fortunately Arian still believed in the Ark's words, and would help Ark to remove the curse, so that the two of them would become partners on an adventure together later. The next day in the kingdom of Rodan, the king was seen with two princes and his daughter discussing the previous incident. The first prince, named Sect, explained that the clown had broken the agreement, and kidnapped the elves and sold them to the Eastern Emperor. Knowing this, the king asked the second princess, named Uriarna, to have a meeting with the higher-ups of the elves, so that the problem could be resolved before chaos occurred. Meanwhile, the two of them were resting at night. Then it was seen that Arian really liked the softness of Ponta. Then the next day, they arrived at the village of the elf, namely Lalyoya. Then the Ark met Arian's parents, namely Dylan, and beside him was his wife named Glennis. Thanks to the help from the previous Ark, they welcomed the arrival of the Ark with pleasure. In fact, they will also keep a secret if Ark has the shape of a skull. Then the next day, Arian and Dylan went to the capital. When they got there they had a meeting with the elven elders. Knowing that the Rotem kingdom had committed a violation, they were on standby in case of a war between the elves and the Rotem kingdom. When she wanted to go home, Arian met her sister named Even. It looks like her sister is also an elf just like Arian. It turns out that Even soon married someone there. Meanwhile, the Ark with Glins went on a date together and toured the village. Even Glins asked for a power struggle. Glins seemed to have the ability in sword techniques that was very agile, and always made the Ark helpless. After that, the Ark with Ponta enjoyed the bath in a relaxed manner, but Arian suddenly entered there. As a result, the Ark accidentally enjoyed the beauty of the world. Then they held a meeting together, in order to save the other elf captives. Then Dylan gave information, if there was a holy spring near the village, which could break any curse, but unfortunately the place was guarded by the Dragon Lord. The next day, the Ark tried something with mid-level skills on his body, although his hands were able to recover, but it didn't last long. It was certain that his body was under the influence of a curse. Next Ark RNA wants to go to the capital of the Rodan kingdom. Then Ariane gets information, that in the forest there is a haunted wolf monster, whose tail can be used as the best gift for a bride-to-be. Coincidentally, her sister, Even, is getting married soon. As a result, Ariane wanted to get the haunted wolf's tail as a gift. Luckily the monster had come to them. During the arc against the wolf leader, there was a black ring on her leg. After being destroyed, the monster turns back to normal, and no longer attacks. Meanwhile, Princess Uriana was heading to the city of Limbu, but there were robed troops who immediately attacked her, so that she died of very fatal injuries. Besides, the Ark with Ponta felt there was a commotion in the forest. After arriving there, the previous Ark together with the wolves, participated in slaughtering the villain. Then the Ark uses the serial generation to Uriana along with her subordinates. After finishing healing them all, the Ark immediately went unnoticed by them. As a result, when Uriana realized that they had received a blessing from heaven, the next Ark with Ariane had arrived at the capital of the Rodan kingdom. Unexpectedly they met Shiom there again. When the Ark met again with Shiom, making himself excited, because he could meet directly with Shinobi Ninja, then Shiom explained his purpose there. It turned out that he wanted to save the animal humans who had been kidnapped. For that Shiom asked for their help. Seeing Shiom's determination to save his relative, Ariane and Ark then accepted the help. Long story short, they arrived at the slave trade headquarters in the capital. Shiom also discussed the plan of attack with them. Knowing that the Ark could teleport made Shiom feel happy. Then came Shiom's colleague named Goemon, next Ark. Together with Goemon, they were in charge of infiltrating bravely from the front. It was seen that Ark's hand was impatient to beat him, then they managed to beat that person. Next Shiom and Ariane infiltrated through the back lane. After defeating several guards there, they finally arrived at the place where the animal humans were being held. Without further ado, Shiom immediately freed them all there. Not only that Ark and Gemon had finished defeating all the guards, but there were still animal humans being held there. Knowing that they rushed there, although they managed to save the captives, but there were several animal humans who died horribly, making Shiom feel annoyed. Then they brought the services of the animal humans to rest with holy fire. In another place Dakars, who was the mastermind of the slave trader, was suddenly killed by his own subordinates. It turned out that the one who ordered him was the sect prince, not only that because he got Uriana's necklace. As a result, sect intends to announce that Uriana has died, in Dakar's evil plot. In order to get the king's throne, the sect is willing to kill its own family for the sake of profit. Furthermore, Uriana had arrived safely at her sister's place, the first daughter named Cheryl, after hearing the news that Dakars had died, along with herself who was considered dead as well. Uriana thought that all of that was a plan from a sect that wanted to ascend the throne, so Uriana intended to go into hiding first, and negotiate with the higher-ups of the elves. Then they got information from Shiom, that the elf captives had been sold to the emperor in the east, whose name was Domitianus. Next they met a wiper monster on their way to the empire. Of course they would be experimental materials for the Ark's electric power, but Ariane and Pona were also hit by the electricity. Then they stopped by a nearby town, and met an elf named Karsi. Because his job was studying monster biology, he asked them to bring monster corpses, in exchange for Karsi to distribute imperial patai, along with monster study books. After that Ariane and Ark rested in their room, while enjoying a Karsi drink together, but Ariane got drunk and started attacking the Ark brutally. Luckily the Ark was still alive even though the room was a mess. Then they together with Karsi to catch the monster, even though it was attacked by a monster there. Fortunately Ark can hold it and attack the monster, so that the monster can be given to Karsi, so that he can do research. As payment, Karsi distributes the two objects to them. Elsewhere there is a villain named Fumba who is having fun. It turns out that he is siding with the Empire, to destroy the rodent kingdom. Then Fumba shows his monster, and throws the woman to make food. It is certain that Fumba has a black ring that controls the monster. Then they arrived at the border of the imperial city. When they got there they looked for various information about the kidnapped elves, but instead there was an incident of missing people in the city. Then there was a woman who wanted to be caught by criminals, but the Ark helped the woman. As a thank you, the woman gave Ark a warm hug. It turns out that the disappearance was the work of the Fumba, who kidnapped the residents and made them food for monsters. While Ark and Ariane tried to infiltrate a suspicious place there, secretly they managed to infiltrate there down to the basement. When they got there, they met Fumba there. It turned out that Fumba was able to control Ariane to attack the Ark. Luckily the Ark managed to find a monster that had controlled Ariane, but after that Fumba had prepared a stronger monster. Then Fumba explained that the elves had been used as material. Imperial experiment. Even the Fumba were having fun with the elves. Not only that, Shiom and other ninjas were also there, because the small monsters had been slaughtered. Fumba also used his flagship monster to fight them, namely Hydra. Then they were hit by a very strong attack from the Hydra. Luckily the Ark had time to use his shield, so they could still survive the attack. Then Ariane intended to beat up the Fumba who had toyed with the elves cruelly. Even Ark's hands were itching to beat the Hydra. As a result the Ark will attack the Hydra. Meanwhile, Shiom and Ariane searched for the whereabouts of Fumba. Then Ark began to launch his attack on the Hydra. Because the Hydra is very strong, thanks to that the Ark can try out various kinds of powers it has, and summon the Hell Demon Ifrit to fight the Hydra. Elsewhere, Shiom and Ariane meet the Fumba there. They manage to corner the Fumba, and destroy the series of Hydra controllers in the Fumba's body. Meanwhile, the Ark with Ifrit also succeeded in eliminating the Hydra monsters to ashes, so that the battle was won by them, and Ifrit became MVP. Elsewhere Ariane meets the Elven Elder. Uriana will be in charge of the search for the elves who have been kidnapped. Before that she wants to establish a partnership with the elves, in order to defeat the sect prince, in order to achieve a bright future, namely humans can coexist with the elf. After that the three of them continued their adventure together. Then the Ark showed Shiom his handsome face there. Shiom became shocked after seeing that. Then their next destination was the Dragon Lord's Holy Spring. And the story ends here. What do you think about Skeleton Knight in Another World? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell to receive notifications for the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video.